Here we are in Hanyang, or Seoul as you may know it, visiting Changgyeong Palace at night. All the windows are illuminated invitingly, which means they must want me to come and take a peek inside. This room is set up with expensively elegant turned brass settings, which are no doubt harboring very delicious treats. And after taking tea, one can proceed to this room for a lovely meal. One does wonder what salacious secrets these walls may hide, although Joseon royalty aren't exactly known for their scandal. Well, okay, there was Prince Sado, who in this very palace was locked inside a rice chest and left to die of dehydration and starvation because he was such a sadist, actually. The notion of committing such an act against a crown prince was so horrifying that they actually managed to keep it a secret until his father, the king as was, passed away. And even then it only came out because Sado's widow actually mentioned it in her memoirs. So if you look closely, you may see ghosts. Well, enough with this gruesomeness. Let us retreat to the gardens, which are illuminated delightfully in the evening. Here you can find ancient sculpted treasures that have somehow managed to survive the centuries of looting, pillaging, and burning by a variety of invading armies. And a garden that is reminiscent of royal cousins from the distant west. And of course, no palace is complete without an adorably regal kitty. Clearly not underfed. Here at the War Memorial of Korea, we have stumbled across a beautiful piece of Korea's bellicose past, the infamous turtle ship. This reconstruction is done on a 2:1 scale, meaning that it should actually be twice this big in all dimensions. The earliest version of this splendid ship was recorded in the early 15th century, and then it sort of fell out of use until Japan decided to, try to take Korea over. Joseon as was. And that is when one of Korea's greatest military leaders, the famous Admiral Yi, stepped onto the stage, built an entire fleet of these things, and basically trounced Japan in a series of naval engagements that won the war. Historians dispute the existence of metal plating on these ships, but that is a debate for another day. On these tables before you, you see what it takes to maintain my Contessa lifestyle for 2 weeks of a medievalism. Just a few little items that I will, actually all of which I will use. Every single one of these items will get used multiple times, believe it or not. And in fact, the only overgarments are in this little pile down here. Everything else is accessories, shoes, stockings, not the over things, just all the other things. P.S. All of this is going to fit into 2 checked bags, a carry-on, and a backpack and a personal bag. The magic of Contessa packing. And now I'm going to do a whip stitch to just bind the turned over shell fabric to the lining. I'm having to repin in certain spots because it wasn't actually bound tightly enough to the edge. So I was actually missing some of the lining. I want this to be nice and tight so that when I whip the skirts on, it's through all the layers, not just through the shell fabric. One shall be the turning.
The turning shall be one.
Beautiful!